Bong, 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 bong. Contrary to criticisms already launched and those foreseeable, the futurist culinary revolution described in this book has the lofty, noble, and universally expedient aim of changing radically the eating habits of our race, strengthening it, dynamizing it, and spiritualizing it with brand new food combinations in which experiment, intelligence, and imagination will economically take the place of quantity, banality, repetition, and expense.
This is the beginning of the introduction of the book, followed by an aim of futurist cooking at the speed of a hydroplane and a harmony between man's palate and his life today and tomorrow. The way we eat is the art of self-nourishment, and as art demands creative originality, so does the futurist kitchen in this book with the stories they present. Additionally, the futurist cookbook also includes some short and more concrete recipes which are called formulas. Even some drawings of the sculptural outcomes of the formulas are included. The book ends with a little dictionary of futurist cooking in which they clarify their indications and replacements of new words. As said, their originality comes with their creativity. The following dinner program will explain more on this improvisation. The Futurist Cookbook.
Improvised dinner. These improvised dinners are recommended as a means of bringing together maximum originality, variety, surprise, unexpectedness, and good humor. Of every cook, it is asked that he acquire an attitude that understands that form and color are just as important as taste, can conceive of an original architecture for every dish, possibly different for each individual, in such a way that every person has a sensation of eating not just good food, but also works of art. Will, before preparing a dinner, study the character and sensibility of everyone, and take account of age, sex, physical makeup, and even psychological factors in the distribution of the dishes. Can, when necessary, create dinners in motion, by means of moving carpets that run along in front of the diners, carrying every kind of different dish. Individualized preparation will be simplified this way because everyone will be thrust into a position where he would have to seize his preferred food for himself. And the choosing would be doubly agreeable because, in a certain sense, it would encourage the human spirit of adventure and heroism. At improvised dinners, the cooks, waiters, and managers can of course discuss the attributes of the various dishes, but they must never take into account the personal taste of the diners. Formula by the futurist era painter Filliam. Men think, dream, and act according to what they eat and drink.
The Futurist Cookbook communicates an abolition of pasta chuta.
Futurist cooking will be free of the old obsession with volume and weight, and will have as one of its principles the abolition of pasta chuta. Pasta chuta, however agreeable to the palate, is a passive food, because it makes people heavy, brutish, deludes them into thinking it's nutritious, makes them skeptical, slow, pessimistic. Besides which, patriotically, it is preferable to substitute rice.
Rice was the perfect substitute because it could grow and be harvested within the Italian borders, while parts of the ingredients for pasta had to be imported from other countries. Pasta is swallowed, not masticated, like bread and rice, which influences the digestion and therefore our behavior. The abolition of pasta chuta is a big part of the cookbook and the new way of eating that was presented. Italian futurism started in 1909 with Filippo Tommaso Marinetti's first manifesto introducing futurism to the world. Many more manifestos were to come on many different fields and disciplines. Although the movement is quite known, their approach on cooking is less so. The Futurist cookbook was presented in 1932 by Marinetti and Filia, approaching food and dining as an art form. The human experience takes a central position. It sets out the futurist way of thinking on food in a manifesto, ideology, and polemics. Furthermore, the Great Futurist Banquets and the Definitive Futurist Dinners are included. Here, a distinction is made between the dinners and banquets that have actually taken place and that are ought to exist in the near future. The way the dining activities are described reveal the thoughts on how this new way of eating should be handled. Visually written, all the aspects that contribute to the experience of food come along. The definitive futurist dinners are described as follows.
It is not only that futurist cooking proposes a complete revolution in the nourishment of our race, with the aim of making it more joyful, spiritual, and dynamic. Futurist cooking also proposes, through the art of harmoniously combining futurist dishes, to evoke and provoke essential states of mind which cannot otherwise be evoked or provoked. We have put together some dinner programs that we call provocative and evocative.
One of these dinner programs is
Declaration of Love Dinner. A shy lover yearns to express his feelings to a beautiful and intelligent woman. The following declaration of love dinner, served on the terrace of a grand hotel in the twinkling lights of the city, will help him to achieve this aim. I Desire You. Antipasto composed of a myriad selection of exquisite tidbits, which the waiter will only let them admire, while she contents herself with bread and butter. Flesh Adored. A big plate made from a shining mirror. In the center, chicken slices perfumed with amber and covered with a thin layer of cherry jam. She, while eating, will admire her reflection in the plate. This is how I love you. Little tubes of pastry filled with many different flavors. One of plums, one of apples cooked in rum, one of potatoes drenched in cognac, one of sweet rice, etc. She, without batting an eyelid, will eat them all. Super Passion. A very compact cake of sweet pastry with small cavities on the top, filled with anise, mint, rum, juniper, and amaro. Tonight with Me. A very ripe orange, enclosed in a large hollowed-out sweet pepper, embedded in a thick zabaglione flavored with juniper and salted with little bits of oyster and drops of seawater. Formula by the futurist era painter, Filia.
A renewal of food and the Italian way of eating was announced. Like in all disciplines that Italian futurism interfered with, cooking was a new way of expressing speed, heroism, and dynamics. It was creating a balance between art and life, and today and tomorrow, as well as it was an unsurpassed way of self-nourishment. A futurist way of cooking, that is, optimism at the table.